Welcome to Ball and Chain Podcast. This is episode 207. We're back, baby. It's been a hot minute. I'm Max Morty, and I have with me, as always, it's my angel.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
I feel like I always say tired.
Always say tired. But we're back.
But that's because I'm always...
It's exciting.
When you have a 7-month-old and you've only running on 4 hours of sleep, I mean, you're just kind of always tired. Perpetual state of tired.
Right. It's not if you're awake or tired. It's how tired are you? On a scale of 1 to 10, how tired are you?
Right.
So there's no more awake.
No,
not so much. So let's jump back into it. So we're a video game podcast. We talk about movies, TV shows, a couple other entertainment things that kind of keep us busy and, stop us from sleeping.
Right.
Which we should probably sleep more if we could. I mean, the baby's asleep now, so we should sleep, right? But
That's what they say.
Right.
But people who said that clearly have never...
They don't. What do they do? I don't understand. Like, if you want to do the things that you want to do, like, I don't know, like housework. I know you don't want to do that, but like, if we just, slept when the baby slept, it's like nothing would ever get done. We would never have any fun.
Well, and doing photography, that's when I get my editing done.
Right.
When he's awake, he wants attention and someone to play with. I'm not just like, hey, go sit in the corner while I'm on my computer.
Right. Exactly.
So
Yeah, we're gonna talk about some games and some fun stuff. We've got a pretty good show planned for you guys. Just to kind of get everybody caught up with what we did last podcast. Our last podcast was, what did I find? What did I write down? February 22nd.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah. So almost 3 months ago? Just under 3 months ago. That's how on the ball we've been. But
we did really good after Sawyer was born. I mean, like
Right. But I think we slacked off a little bit, only because there was so much going on around the house. Newborn.
The month of April, I got a studio.
Right. Got your studio.
Working on that
photography studio.
Last month, right.
So that was last month. The month before that, I think we took time off because we were trying to organize your business. That's when we developed a business plan, a couple business models and stuff like that. I believe that's when we started.
I don't know.
It's been like a flash.
I don't even remember.
But we're back. We're going to start recording again on Wednesdays. We're going to be doing the Mana Drain podcast as well. And then...
I think I was working the call center job.
Oh, were you?
Some evenings.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You also started working on the nights and weekends for live ops,
which I've kind of not done in a while.
Well, that's because photography's kind of filled that void. So, and that's kind of like that was like the contingent plan,
End
right?
goal, right?
You quit your job.
Yikes.
Yeah, yikes. You quit your job. You have 3 sources of income. You have your photography business, you have live ops, and then you have Bella Baby, which you take pictures for a couple hospitals. So you've got a couple different, and the end goal was to drop live ops first once Bella Baby took off and photography your personal photography took off, and then like eliminate Bella Baby as much as possible.
I don't know. I do love.
I know you do. Yeah. I mean, I don't think you want to do it every weekend though, right?
I don't want to be working every weekend. No.
Right. Exactly.
No, my end game is
work as little as possible.
Make
as much money.
That. I mean, like what we did you helped me shoot a wedding 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
And that's an 8-hour day, which that wasn't even meant to be an 8-hour day, but it was.
And the way I look at that one, because you're shooting another wedding later this month or next month at that same location, so it's kind of like prep, I guess, for the next one.
But you're there 8 hours, and they say, oh, you just worked one Saturday and you made this much money. Well, no, it's, every night since then, 2 or 3 hours at least editing photos.
Right.
I don't even know how many hours. I should add it up and try to find out how many hours I actually spend editing and going through the pictures. But
how many pictures did we end up taking?
I think there were 15 1,500 on my camera and
700 on mine.
Yeah.
Because I was deleting pictures because my memory card was running out.
Right. So
which I was just the backup shooter. So the camera that I was using wasn't nearly as good as yours, and I don't have that type of skill set that you do. So I'm sure mine are probably garbage.
We'll get you there, but yeah, no, it's not just a hey. Yeah, you made X amount of dollars in one day. No, it's a lot more work than that.
Like after the camera turns off, there's still more work to be done.
Yeah, much more.
Yikes. So we've been super busy, but I've felt really bad at neglecting the channel. I want to get back into it. So we're going to be starting the Ball and Chain podcast up every Wednesday. I don't want to quit. I know there's a timestamp on the channel up at the top, but I don't think we're going to be able to hit that every time, but we will record a podcast Wednesday nights.
You should just, but you post live. I was going to say, if you didn't do live, you could always
just
pre-record it and post it at 8 o'clock. If we recorded a weekend.
Right. But we would still have to record a week before.
But not necessarily at 8 o'clock.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm thinking, we've got the two kids. Eli is pretty easy. He's just brush your teeth, go to bed, read a book. Drank. He drank. Bumpy blank scout. But he's pretty simple. But the other one, that's the variance right there, right? That's where it's like, do we start at 8 o'clock or it's a late night? Let's start at today. We're starting at 9. So it's gonna be, we'll say Wednesday evenings to nights, somewhere in there. And if it gets too late, it might just be me, because you have to. I mean, I have to work in the morning, but you have to contend with a toddler or an infant. He's not really a toddler yet. He's an infant, right?
Yeah, don't give him toddler yet.
He doesn't have toddler status yet.
No.
So we're gonna bring back the Mana Drain podcast. I still got to talk to Magic Vice about getting that up and running. But that's the game plan. And then also Laundry Day stream will start back up. Actually, tomorrow, that's going to be on Thursday. So Laundry Day stream is tomorrow I'm going to go rent Prey. And
I thought you did not care for the
demo. Whoa, spoilers. That's what we're going to talk about here in a minute.
Oh, sorry.
Man.
Sorry. You even told me what we were talking about, and I probably just totally was not paying attention.
Right, just giving it away. Gosh. Anyway, and then pre-recorded video of some sort, either like opening magic packs or pre-recorded video for Fridays. So we're gonna get full swing back in the schedule for you guys, because I feel pretty bad about neglecting the channel. So anyway, top 3 for this week. Number 3 is going to be first impressions of Prey based on playing the demo. You watched me play it while you were editing, so I don't know.
I honestly couldn't tell you anything.
I can't tell you much, but that's what the internet's for. Number 2, E3 opened the doors to the public and then quickly slammed them shut after all the tickets were sold. So we're going to talk about that. And then last but not least, or first, Angel's going to open up the Once Upon a Time how do I want to say this? It's not the last episode. We thought it was going to be, but not series finale.
No, season finale.
Right. But at one point in time, it was going to be the... Potentially. So we're going to jump into that. Definitely going to be spoilers. We'll talk about the last episode and kind of where we think it's going to go from here.
Or where the internets
say that it's going to go.
Right.
So, so I want to thank everybody that's watching on twitch.com/72DPI online. And then also we are streaming to Facebook Live. So I really appreciate you guys checking out the channel. Make sure you head over to our YouTube page, youtube.com/72DPI online. Leave a comment. That's where we store all of our videos and everything. And, subscribe so we can build our army. Anyway, all right. So first impressions of Prey, based on the demo. Haven't played the full game yet, but let's talk a little bit about this. So, Prey, the original Prey, was probably one of my cult classics as far as the was it? No, it was on the 360. Yeah, it was on one of the 360 games. Um, Everything had like a glaze over it, so it was very like shiny and gross looking.
I don't necessarily remember what it though.
It was well, it was like this. You were captured by an alien. You were abducted by aliens, and
Didn't have like a Native American
yeah,
aspect to it. Or
yeah,
something.
you were a Native American named Johnny, and you just pretty much wreaked. It was kind of like a Doom clone, but up in space, killing aliens rather than killing demons down in hell. So, same premise, but so interesting guns and not. I guess I don't really want to say puzzles because it's more of an action shooter. But it was real. I mean, it was the Portal system was awesome. Think of the game Portal. You know how like there's different portals and you'd go through into a whole different environment. You could interact through the portals and things like that. Something that hadn't really been done before, and just kind of really set the it set the bar for like a first person shooter on the 360. And then Halo 2 came out and kind of shattered that. So, anyway, so we're looking at the first hour of the game, and this is the first time I've played a demo that said the first hour of the game, and I literally think this is the first hour of the game, and that's it. The demo, usually when you play a demo and they say, "Oh, this is the first segment of the game or the first hour of the game," they've cut out a slice and they've quarantined you off and things like that in a natural feeling. I'm going to skip to the end here, but at the end of the demo, at least in my experience, you can't finish the demo. You get your last objective or waypoint or thing or whatever, and it's on the other side of a door that you can't open because there's like a little LCD screen that says not.
Yeah, you seemed very frustrated by
Right. I was like, what the hell is this? Like, you give me objective, but I can't complete it because it's not available in the demo. I mean, I probably walked around probably about a good 45 minutes trying to find a way around the door. Maybe there was glitched or something like that, or if I missed something, but no, definitely didn't miss anything. Door would not open. Couldn't explode it open. It just wouldn't open. So just done. So I don't know if the game was glitched, but it looked like it was meant to be that way because the text on the door said not available in the demo or something like that. So it just seemed really odd that it was like, we're going to stop you from playing right in the middle of this mission.
Right.
And there was no like fade to black, Prey coming soon, or order now. Here's a button to click and buy it. It was just like you can walk around. I mean, the environment's beautiful. The graphics are gorgeous, absolutely stunning, and very smooth gameplay. I mean, the game itself was awesome. Demo, not very. I didn't really care for the demo that much. So it's a lot of melee combat in the demo, which that's kind of how the original game started out. You had your trusty wrench or whatever, and that's kind of how the original started out. But for me, this game was more about the combat than it was like the environment. But the demo kind of flipped that on my side, and it's like I interacted with as many things as I possibly could because the combat was terrible. The main bad guy in this series, or in the first hour, are these little crawling spider things. And these little spider crawling things, and like, so you're constantly looking at the ground trying to melee them, right? You eventually get a gun, and you can now shoot the ground, but you have this awesome environment that you're trying to explore and you want to enjoy, and here you are staring at the ground trying to smash some spiders with a wrench. It really just doesn't make for that good of gameplay, in my opinion.
Okay.
So I'm hoping that I'm going to rent it tonight and play it tomorrow on stream and stuff like that. So I'm hoping that it'll expand a little bit more. Obviously, the first one did, and it was excellent. But we'll see. The cool thing about the spider things that they wanted to show off their tech, and this is awesome. It was in previews and stuff like that. but the spider things can take the shape of the inanimate objects in the world. So like, you could walk in a room and there might be a desk with 7 chairs around it, but one of the chairs might be tilted just a little bit, and that's one of these shape-shifting spider things. So if you walk anywhere near it, it will like jump out and grab you and stuff like that. So it does have a shock value to it, and I'm kind of excited to see that. So I don't know, we'll see. It's getting okay reviews on Metacritic. It's let's see here, where was it? It's got a 79, which isn't too bad. It's average, but as far as like connection to the previous one, there's definitely no connection whatsoever, at least to my knowledge. It's kind of like a rehash, restart type of dealy thing. Even though at the end of Prey, the original Prey, it says it says that the story will continue, and the story is definitely not continuing. So this is, at least to my knowledge, unless they bring something in the game. But we'll find more about that out tonight and tomorrow. So, yeah.
So yeah.
Bad demo, probably an okay game. So we'll see. Next up, let's talk about E3 and their upcoming event. So E3 this year is June 13th and 15th. So this is the first year that E3 has opened up the doors to the public. Normally, it's a press event where it's just press only and media insiders and stuff like that. Obviously, some people get in. You basically just tell them you have a blog and you can get in. Apparently, it's been pretty easy to get in the door. But this year, they've actually advertised the first 1,000 tickets are $150. The second 14,000 are $250. So they're going to make a little bit of money on the side. But one of the biggest complaints about this is that the media is upset that this is going to make their lines longer. And I don't understand why these people are paying money to stand in a line to play a game for 20 minutes. They referenced IGN. I think it was Shack News. Referenced that the Zelda Breath of the Wild line was capped at 6 hours.
Oh God!
And it was at 6 hours the entire show. So people waited 6 hours to play the game for 20 minutes.
That's insane.
It is very insane. And then they brought the one guy that was in the video on Shack News was talking about how you can probably go to the like indie booths and there's other things to do there, but people want to go play the AAA games and the big ticket games and stuff like that. And to me, like, I've never been to one of these conventions, but if I the first thing I would do if I saw that line is like, okay, well, let's go find something else that we're gonna do today, right? Like, let's not spend 6 hours in a line. Let's go find something else. Let's walk the show floor, see go see some demonstrations and things like that. But my argument is the media is upset because the lines are going to be longer, but they book their appointments ahead of time.
So they're not necessarily waiting in lines.
Right. So they're not necessarily right. They're not necessarily waiting in lines. They get behind the curtain, behind the door, previews of these games and stuff like that. So I don't understand why they would be upset. I think they're just trying to keep, something for themselves, I guess. Because if there's, if
other people are going to go tell their friends, hey, this is what.
Right, exactly. So
kind of taking their reporting.
Right, kind of taking their reporting away. But, at the end of the day, it's like, if I'm going to go to E3, I'm not going to wait in Zelda's line for 6 hours. I'm going to go play some indie games and some stuff that's in the back corner or whatever, and then I'm going to flip on Kotaku, who's got a backstage pass to Zelda, and watch their preview of Zelda or whatever.
One would think.
That's what I would think.
Not everybody's
some of the other complaints that I was reading online was, well, what about Joe Blow and their internet blog, about they've got not a substantial amount of readers or press, and they don't get to schedule those appointments. And I'm like, it's just like, well, it's not everybody can win,
Right.
So get there early, figure out what you want to do, have a game plan. So I don't know. I just find it interesting that they've opened it up to the public. So it's something that's I've always wanted to go to and kind of experience. But definitely not for $150 though. It seems a little pricey.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know what all you get to do there, but if you think about how much people spend at various Comic Cons and things like that.
Yeah.
Now, I could see it because I know at Comic Cons or like Walker, Stalker, those things, you have your entry ticket, which is actually pretty cheap. I want to say we were looking at going, it was what, $40 or something like that.
Right.
But then if you want to do anything like meet any of the casts, and
That's where the extra money comes in.
then you're talking, right, depending on who you want to meet,
Who's
$100.
there, yeah.
I mean, I think to do a photo op, not even with the autograph, just the photo op with Negan, it was like $100. So maybe they make the ticket to the actual IGN or E3 cheaper, and then Zelda, if you want like sell only so many Zelda tickets, and those are $200 to play, or something along those lines.
Right.
Like
that, and see, that's kind of what I was thinking. Like, kind of like how Cedar Point does it, right? I think it's Cedar Point. Is it Cedar Point that does it? They give you like ticket, or maybe it's Kings Island.
they used to like a fast pass for a certain time.
Yeah,
Disney did that.
Maybe it was Disney. You got a fast. Like, you had like there was a fast pass lane or whatever, and you could have a fast pass bracelet, and you could go through that line and be shorter. You had to
be there at like at 3:30 or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
So like, there's a couple different schools of thought for this. Like, this Disney approach was, you have a fast pass for a certain ride at a certain time. You go there, get in line, and you can bypass everybody. Or you can buy like a fast pass, generic one, like at Cedar Point, and there's two different queues. The general queue, which your general ticket gets you into, and then like if you spend an extra $100, you get to go in the fast pass queue, which is significantly shorter. So, that's something they could do in the future. Maybe, let's sell general tickets at $100, and then your fast pass will sell those at $200. So now you've effectively split your audience in two, and
right.
Can I spring for the extra $100 and get the fast pass, or do I just take the $100 and hope that everybody else went fast pass and option A or option B? So there's a couple different things that they could do. If this goes well. Now, one of the things that is that's been speculated is the numbers at E3 lately have been hovering around the 40 to 50,000 range. That's a shitload of people.
Right.
And that's just press and then some public people that sneak in or whatever. But adding 15,000 people to that's going to it's packed. Like, there's some, if you go to the E3's website, there's like, it's shoulder to shoulder. They showed a picture of the Zelda Breath of the Wild line, and it's like this huge, like, it doesn't look like a line. It just looks like people crossing, a road in like downtown New York or something like that, like in a crosswalk. It's just like this chunk of people. But I don't know. I'm kind of excited. The other aspect is the commentary that you get on the blog sites. So now, not only do you have like the bloggers, right, the people that are there backstage playing the games or whatever, but now you could very well have the commentators or the people that are commenting saying, "Oh yeah, I was there and I played this and it was awesome," or blah blah blah, and you kind of get that extra layer of involvement, I guess. So I think it's a good thing. It's a win-win situation. The media is there to report what's on everything available, and the publishers and developers want to show their game off to as many people as they want, or as many people as they can. So
right.
The people that are going to be buying their games are going to be there in force. So I think it'd be awesome to be able to talk to a developer. Just, kind of one-on-one, like, hey, and, what kind of, take me through, like, the steps of, creating this, this world, or, what was your thought process when, coming up with this character or mission or whatever. I just find that stuff really interesting.
Well, good.
So, I don't know. We'll see. So, last up, Once Upon a Time. Tell us about it.
Tell you about it.
The cat's on a table.
Anyway. So yeah, ABC just came out with the list of what shows they were keeping. Once Upon a Time is gone. They just finished their sixth season. And I don't know. There's a large fan base that will stand by the show probably no matter what. I mean, it's kind of like, and then there's the people who say it's run its course.
Mm-hmm.
And after 6 seasons, I love the show, and I don't want to see it end, but at the same time, I can see what they're saying as well.
Right.
So the season finale was coming up this week, or just passed. It just happened last Sunday. And with the uncertainty of whether or not it was going to come back, the creators did say that they were writing an episode that could serve as a series finale that would wrap everybody's story up, which we kind of saw it coming this whole season. Well, the back half of this season has been about the final battle. The black
between good and evil.
Right. So it's been a long time since we've been on the show. We haven't really talked Once Upon a Time in quite a while. But basically, to summarize it, the most evil of all evils, the darkest of all dark, the Black Fairy, made her way into the world. You kind of find out that she was the Rumpelstiltskin's mom, but she's kind of the one who she created the main curse that started the whole show.
I thought that was the evil queen.
Regina cast it, but it was written by the Black Fairy created it for Regina to cast. I haven't really been paying attention that much. Right.
Right. Clearly, you suck. Shut up. Let me talk.
No. It's just so you see a lot of similarities between Rumpelstiltskin and the Black Fairy, which is his mom.
Mm-hmm.
She started out obviously it's the Enchanted Forest a bajillion years ago. And she started out as a human, had a baby, and the Blue Fairy and Tiger Lily from Peter Pan, who's also a fairy, came to her and said that they were there to protect the sun because he was supposed to be the savior.
Mm-hmm.
And he was going to save them from a very, very dark evil magic. And she kind of became obsessed with how to save her son. Going and finding all of the children who may have been born with this mark that the legend said. And turns out that she became the evil that he was supposed to fight. Because of her obsession.
Right.
And she turned herself into a fairy. And severed Rumpelstiltskin from his fate using the shears.
Right. That
we saw earlier. So he was no longer meant to be the savior at that point. So you kind of see that she wrote that curse. Everything that basically has been done in the show has been orchestrated in order to get her family back together. Which is exactly the same thing we saw initially with Rumpelstiltskin. He used Regina to set the curse in motion that would enable him to come to our land so he could find Balefire. I mean, it's very cyclical.
Right. Very selfish.
History is repeating itself.
Right.
That's what their family always falls into, using dark magic and overcome. Succumbing to the power that they get from it.
It comes with a price.
Which is their family, which they're always constantly trying to
Right.
get back to. So it's just this cycle that goes over and over. But at any rate, so aside from that, Henry, who is now the author, which we've known that for a little while, starts going into trances, writing script, and finding out that the book is blank. The Once Upon a Time storybook that we've known, and he can't write anything. He can't.
Right,
he can't change anything. He can't make anything happen. He can't add anything. And the book's ending. Their stories are over.
Right.
So yeah, I felt like they closed it. The episode that we saw, it was a 2-hour episode. I felt like that could have been a very good closure
Mm-hmm.
to the series as a whole. They had said overall that even if the show gets continued, if they were going to have a major cast shakeup, they were going to be changing a lot of things
Mm-hmm.
and kind of reimagining the show. Not totally changing it, but they wanted the stories they've been telling for the last 6 seasons, that story is done.
Right.
They would be starting a new story if they were given the opportunity to. And we saw everyone did get their, I mean, besides the Black Fairy, everyone did get their happy ending. And it kind of showed a little montage of all of our
Each
characters.
party, each party member.
They asked some characters to come back. Jennifer Morrison, who plays Emma Swan, and she declined for personal reasons and just wanting to do more different. I mean, she's been this character for 6 years. She's ready to move on.
She wants to do something different.
She does. She's actually looking to direct and do more directing.
Oh, really? That's interesting.
I think has done some directing and is looking to do more of that. But I guess she has agreed to come back another episode. She's contracted one episode. The Snow White and Prince Charming characters, they were being written out. They are also actually in a recent interview that I read. The girl that plays Snow White, Jennifer Goodwin, she has said, "Oh, you haven't seen The Last of Us." So I mean, I think they know that they're okay guest starring for now. You know,
right.
Every once in a while. They actually, her and Josh Dallas, that plays Charming, actually married in real life, have had 2 children since the show, so they're probably ready to spend more family time.
Right.
So we saw our characters get a happy ending, and then there were some what we find are flash forwards at the very beginning of the 2 hours. It looked like it was a flashback. It looked like the enchanted forest in a cottage with this older middle-aged gentleman. We don't know who, and a little girl. And there's some evil coming, and he's saying, "Go take this book. Someone will believe these stories.
Right. Keep it safe."
Right. So the little girl escapes the house. Then midway through this 2-hour special, we kind of see her meet Tiger Lily, who says, "You will see your father again." And then at the very end of the 2 hours, we see this little girl who is now in present day Seattle, I believe.
On a bus.
Well, not present day, actually in the future.
Right.
Because the Once Upon a Time series we've been watching has been present day. This is now, I think, in the future.
It's got to be at least 15 years in the future because Henry's in it. He's much older now.
Right. So the little girl goes to knock on this door. The guy who we saw that was her dad answers. The guy that was in the Enchanted Forest. And she says, "You're my father, Henry. Your family needs you." And he does not obviously remember. It's very reminiscent of the very, very first episode when Henry goes to find Emma.
Right.
It seems like he's probably under some sort of curse again, where he doesn't remember who he is. I don't know if he came to our world on his own or if he was cursed here.
Right.
But so it does give a lot of characters an out as to, oh, where are they? Oh, they're in danger somewhere where we can't get to them. So it does kind of give that escape route. We do know that Lana Parrilla, who plays Regina, Colin O'Donoghue, who plays Hook, and Robert Carlyle, which is Gold, have agreed to come back as series regulars.
Which is interesting that I can't wait to see how they write this in, because you've got Hook and Emma
Have been
married. I don't know the actors' names. I'm not going to go that far. Hook and Emma are married, so something's got to happen to where Emma can come back for an episode, which I believe is probably going to be a flashback or something.
Either that, or they finally rescue her at the last episode of season 7.
And if that's the case, then season 7 is the last season. Then is that what the deal is? I mean, they've only signed on for one more season,
they've only
right?
signed up for one more season, and here's the other kicker: is that ABC has changed around a lot of their time slots, and Sunday 8 o'clock is ABC's like moneymaker time slot. That's that's gold, and that's what they've been since they started, and
Right.
they're getting moved to Fridays at 8 o'clock, which is not a good place to be.
No, because I mean, you've got
People go out Friday night.
people go out Friday nights, but I mean, that's DVR. I mean,
I know, but it's still that is
and you got
it's
Hulu.
a death time slot. It's not.
So
That's
you
a
don't-
dying show's time slot.
You think that's gonna be the end of it? I think you're right. I think so too. So, what about spin-offs? You think? 'Cause, I mean, because they did the Alice in Wonderland thing,
They did it one. I think they did it one season and realized I don't think it really.
took off.
Yeah, I think this is going to be it, and I think the creators will probably find something different.
I think the only series that's done a spin-off like that I've actually enjoyed the spin-off, at least season 1, was Better Call Saul.
Oh, speaking of spin-offs, I think we've pretty much covered Once Upon a Time.
Yeah, for the most part.
Okay, Game of Thrones.
Oh yeah.
4 spin-off potentials.
So are those 4 individual like series, or are those like episode 1, 2,
No,
3, and 4?
4 individual potential series.
Oh, that would be awesome. Oh wait,
Not
my favorite character's
utilizing.
dead.
Well, it wouldn't utilize any of the current characters.
Oh, really?
George R. R. Martin said it's not going to utilize any of the current characters. I don't think.
So you can get away from the books and kind of tell a different story. That's probably smart. I mean,
Yeah, there were. I did read about though the potentials. Let's see here.
I mean, there's a lot of history there, and the thing is, they don't have to be all in the same timeline. Like, there's so much history there that can be told. You know, I mean, if any series has, the backstory to tell for, 4 separate spin-offs, it's definitely Game of Thrones.
Okay, well this article says that there's a potential 5. A potential 5th writer to the original 4. So there are different writers actually even that are doing
that's
these
awesome.
different. Yeah. And some of them are actually pretty big name people.
That's exciting. And then you'll get different. I wonder if they're different directors too. Because that's one thing that with watching Talking Dead has really kind of brought to kind of opened my eyes up a little bit, is they always reference who directed the episode.
Right.
And you can always tell when, is it Greg Nicotero, when he directs one, like it's really good and like spot on, like the lines, the action, the pacing, the storytelling is always spot on. So like I'm wondering if they're doing different writers, if they'll have different directors as well, because I do know in the original Game of Thrones, one of the biggest issues was the filming in the different climates and the different locations and trying to get everybody to those
Right.
different locations.
Yeah, I can't find. I saw somewhere where they were looking at different ones. All right, don't worry about it.
Okay, so potential 5 different writers, spin-offs.
Martin is supposed to be on 2 of the teams. I think George R. R. Martin. He's on 2 of the.
Like the writing team. That's
for
cool.
2 of those spin-offs. Yes.
That's exciting. I'm kind of glad. Like originally, when I remember you telling me about this, and you said that it was not part of the books. I think my gut reaction was like, oh man. But now that I'm kind of thinking about it, like again, it's it's probably for the best. Like, a little bit more creative freedom, which is always a good thing.
Yeah, it looks like all of the ideas take place before the events of Game of Thrones.
Okay, that's cool. Cool. That's exciting.
Yeah.
All right. So that was episode 207. We're back. I'm excited. This is awesome. Wednesday night ritual. All right, guys. Well, we're going to wrap up the show. Really do appreciate you watching. If you watched us on twitch.tv/72DPI online, you guys rock. We'll be here next Wednesday, roughly between the hours of 8 and 9 o'clock. You can subscribe to the channel and then head over to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/72DPI online. All of our episodes go live there shortly after we record them. It doesn't take too long to edit. Or who am I kidding? I don't edit this. I just post it. Who am I kidding? There's no editing. It's one take and done.
Yeah.
So that's that. If you'd like to help us keep the lights on, or the light on, we'd really appreciate it. You could head over to patreon.com/72DPI, become a patron for as little as $1 a month. It's the easy way to help support the show. But if you don't want to, help us out keeping the lights on, just leaving a like, commenting, or even subscribing to the channel on the YouTube page is the easiest and most effective way. We really do appreciate it. So I want to thank you guys there, and we will see you next week. Thanks for watching.
Bye.